Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, everybody. Man, do I have a great episode of Sip and Chat for you tonight. So let me say, first and foremost, welcome to Recognizing the Real Me, Sip and Chat with T. Lynn. I'm excited tonight. I'm so excited because I have been planning this with this lovely young lady for quite some time. She's very near and dear to my heart. I love her so much. She is my first lady, Miss Lady Darice Carlton. Welcome.
How are you?
I'm great. I am super great. I'm so glad to have you tonight. Listen, before we get started tonight, guys, make sure that you are liking, loving, and sharing. You know what I always say, sharing is caring. And most importantly, guess what? Somebody tonight needs the information that we are sharing. They may not be in my network. They may not be in Lady Darice's network, but guess what? They're in yours. So be sure to share with others so that whoever needs this information tonight will be blessed and get what they need. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So you know what this is. This is Sip and Chat. So I want to know, what are you drinking tonight? What are you sipping on while we chat tonight?
Uh-oh, you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I am sipping some club soda and lime.
Okay.
We're actually on a 21-day fast.
Okay.
So that's what I'm sipping.
Awesome. So I am enjoying some good old green tea because it's great for my belly. And this is time in the evening when I need some. So I got some good old warm green tea. But man, it has been a while. Like you and I said, we've been trying to do this for quite some time. And now we get a chance to informally sit down and chat this evening. So I know a lot about you, but tell my viewers a little bit more about who Miss Darice is.
Who I am. Oh, goodness. Well, these days, I feel like I'm the housekeeper, the chef, the mommy of 4. One person is 3.5 pounds. Well, not person, but pup. I have twin girls who are 12 and my son is 17. My husband is a new bishop.
Yes.
But we've been pastoring in the Northern Virginia area as well as Suitland for the past 15 years. Can you believe it? It's going to be 15 years this coming April.
It's like time is like flying.
Yes.
Flying. Oh my goodness.
I was looking at old clips today and I was like, oh my God, like everybody looks so young. I look so young. What happened? Well, 15 years, more than a decade. That's what happened. But to God be the glory, we are enduring, and I'm so thankful and grateful for you and everyone who sees fit to continue to follow us, because otherwise we would just be walking alone.
Hey, to me, it's all about making sure that we are lined up and in our purpose, right? And so the way I look at it is, I trust God to lead me to be connected with the ministry that's for me and that I have something for, right? And sometimes I look at it like, we're not just there just to, you're there for a season, don't get me wrong, to grow and get what God has for you. But then it's also for you to give back what God has placed in you for his people. And so I've been there for, I think
feels like forever.
It feels like that, right? I know I've been there for at least 11 years, I think.
Wow.
So, no, that's what I said. I was like, I've been there for 11 years. That's a long time.
I do remember you coming in the back late to Dulles.
Hey.
Then we finally started Suitland. To God be the glory.
Yes, I did take the hike to Dulles, and I will come in. But the point was, I came.
That's right. You're faithful and you endured to the end.
I endured. And then my assignment moved to Suitland. And so I had no choice but to be on time.
Yes, because you VIP at Suitland.
Well, amen. 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 So I have been excited to talk to you. We've bounced back and forth about things to talk about, but I really want to get in with you on the conversation of your journey to wholeness and authenticity. I feel like in today's world, it is important. It is of the utmost importance that we really tap into who we are and what we're created to do. And it's a journey. And I think sometimes people miss the fact that it's a journey, but it's a journey that's well worth taking. And so I wanted to chat with you for a little bit, because I know a little bit of your story. And we've talked about, the similarities, but I wanted you to share your journey to becoming your authentic self through spirituality.
Wow. Well, I still feel like I'm on that journey.
Amen.
And probably like all of us, it changes by the season. I'll start off by saying that I've always been a person of service. So even before becoming a pastor's wife, even before becoming a minister evangelist, I always had a heart for people. I always loved people. And even at a young age, I found myself always volunteering. I would go before work during college, and one of the biggest homeless shelters in DC area, Miriam's Kitchen, I would find myself going there before work, getting up, really early, which those who know me and close to me know I'm not a morning person, but just had a strong desire always to do something of service to people. And so for me, I believe that my journey, one, started even before I was born. I believe that everybody has been called to do something. And for me, I know that I was destined to be of service to God's people, to people. I mean, we're all God's people, but to people. Didn't matter age, race, economic status. And so I start with that because I think sometimes people don't really know where we've come from. I came from a single parent home. I had more than enough, but my mom worked tirelessly and was seldom home to be able to provide me what she thought was the best life that she could. And so I was blessed in that I had a hardworking mom, but back in those days, not to date myself, but back in those days, I was a minority. Not only was I a minority because my mom was white and my dad was Black, but my dad was not in the home. So I was a minority in my community. I was a minority in my family. Kind of evolving, trying to find my authentic self was a tough journey for me because there were very few people that looked like me then. There were very few people who were biracial. I'll never forget moving into the community. My mom bought a house when I was 6 years old. She wanted me to have a home, and she worked really hard and saved, and we bought a house, and it was in an all-white community. And I remember at 6 years old, my mom taking me once she had purchased the house, but the people who were living in it and sold it to her had done a rent back, for those of you who know property and stuff. And so my mom owned the house, but we had not moved in it yet. Right. And I'll never forget my mom taking me to see the house and the people's response and expression when they saw me, because it was kind of like, oh, wait a minute. And so I can remember at a very young age, whenever I was with my mom, who was my mom, people always looking at me like, why is she with her? And why is she calling her mom? And so I kind of start with that because I think for me, that's kind of where my heart for service came from, was because I never really felt in place. I always felt out of place. And I always looked to help the people who I felt probably felt like me, out of place and underserviced. And so for me, finding my authentic self, I think, has been a journey. But I'm so grateful that I believe God just gave me a heart for people, especially people who are outcasts, people who may feel like they don't belong, who may feel like they're odd or peculiar, because I am. As I grew older, we had the Barack Obamas and we had the people who really came forth, and I got to see more biracial representation. But when I was growing up, I was minority. People were telling their kids that I was adopted. That's how they would explain that I was chocolate and my mom was white.
Right.
So, becoming your authentic self for all of us, I think that it's definitely the places in your life where you feel lost.
Yep.
Where you feel like you've been abandoned, where you feel like there's complete darkness. It was in those places where I feel God just always spoke to me. And even before I was saved, quote unquote, or had confessed Christ, I always had a heart for God. I always loved people, and I always wanted to be of service.
Yeah. And I think it's good that you pointed that out, that usually whatever it was that you went through in your younger years, whatever you struggled with, whatever it was that made you feel like the misfit, that is usually an indication of where your purpose lies.
Yes. Your struggle, right? Your struggle,
exactly. Because I know for me, I had some of the same thing going on. Of course, just in the sense of just feeling out of place sometimes, not feeling like I belonged. Like I would be there, people would know who I was, but I didn't really feel like I fitted,
Right.
And I tell people one of the greatest things that I feel has led me to my purpose is just how I felt like I was a victim of identity theft.
Right.
Because I was made, some circumstances and situations made me feel like I had to be like everybody else, like to be my unique self.
Yes.
Wrong. And I needed to be a certain way and look a certain way and act a certain way in order for people to love me and to accept me. And then that led me to the journey of where I am now, which is the whole point in recognizing the real me, is because I've been on that journey of recognizing my authentic self, who I am, and what wholeness looks like for me. And it was not an easy journey. And I know for me, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably agree, it was my relationship with God that began to transform my view of myself.
Yes.
I remember praying, and I'll be honest, it took me into my 20s, probably like my mid 20s, before I even got to the point where I literally prayed a prayer and I was like, God, I want to know you for myself.
Wow.
I don't want to know you because my mama knew you or my granddaddy knew you or my grandma knew you. I want to know you for myself. And I want to see myself through your eyes. What do I look like to you? And once I began to pray that prayer, that's why I say, I can't deny that it was nothing but God that brought me to where I am. My relationship with God, my delving into asking God to show me who I am in him is what has brought me to where I am. And he loves me past my faults.
Oh, yeah.
It showed me the magnificence that's still there. And so, as I said, I know we gel a lot on that. But even in the spirituality part, it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy. And I think that we don't always make it easy as women.
Yeah.
For women to be themselves, because oftentimes we're trying to model ourselves after someone else. There were several moments in my life that were really pivotal for me, and I'm grateful for them because I now say that they were God moments. But one moment was when my husband, we were called to start our church, and we were unique in that we started our church. No one gave us our church. The Lord called us to plant our ministry here in Dulles, Virginia, which for those who are in the area or who aren't, we're about 30 minutes outside of Washington, D.C. And we were told that we could not do ministry here because we're Pentecostal. And this is a very affluent, this is one of the top highest income counties in the nation. And so, different people had different perspectives and pretty much spoke that we couldn't do it. I'll never forget just the journey of feeling like when God called my husband that, wow, he called him. So I guess he called me too.
Right.
And always feeling like it was him, it wasn't me. I always felt a separation. And as strange as that may sound, I just always felt like he was equipped. God had called him, but Lord, I'm just stuck with him. So I guess I'm just, I'm coming along.
Yeah.
But God really, in so many instances in the past 15 years, has really showed himself so strong, because I'll never forget much of my hesitation and much of my fear, and that's what it was, of being a first lady, was that I didn't know really what a first lady was. And to start a ministry where my husband, I felt, was called, but I wasn't, was scary for me. And I'll never forget not saying anything to anyone, but the very first service that we had, right after service, one of our church mothers, who's now not with us anymore, she went home to be with the Lord, but Mother Brazil, she was one of our first church mothers. She came up to me after service and she looked at me and she said, "Baby." And I said, "Yes, yes, ma'am." And she said, "God said that he wants you to be you." Yes. And I never forget that. And I share that because, one, I believe that there's such power that we possess as women in our ability to speak into the lives of other women. And sometimes we quiet, we shy away, we won't say things. But I believe that that day she really heard from God. And I believe it was a prophetic moment, because it was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
And to get it from her, who was probably one of the oldest people at our service, I know now was God. And so there are moments like that in life where I really encourage people, and I try to be an encourager of women, just everyone, because you never know what people are going through. She had no clue what I had been struggling with, the anguish that I had, that really I couldn't talk to anyone about, because I really didn't have any first ladies to talk to. And so I just remember having such a peace and a weight lifted for me, that I could be myself. And I think that that's so important for us, for those of us who are, who listen to this, and for you and for your mom, and for us as women, because we have the ability to incubate. Yes. And to bring forth life. And sometimes we think that it's just the physical, right, but there's also the spiritual aspect of that, where I truly can say, in most cases where I was truly encouraged, it came from a woman. In most cases, even still, if I get down, I want to talk to my mama.
Right. Exactly.
So the power that we possess, and I know that, even we've talked about church hurt, we've talked about things in the church that go wrong, and so many people leave the church for those reasons. All the church hurt, all the things that I've been through that have been really difficult for me in the 15 years of ministry were the result of women. Yeah. It wasn't men. And so I think that it's so vital, it's so important for us as women to understand the power that we possess, the power to speak life, and to speak death, and to really be prayerful and really careful. Even if you're not a Christian, be careful of what you say. Yes. I forget what the saying is, but I think they said it takes like 10 positive affirmations to kind of delete that negative. I think it's even more, because I can tell you every negative thing that probably anybody has ever said about me.
Right.
You just remember it.
Like it sticks to your ribs.
You remember it. And so I'm grateful, because I do believe that all things work together for good. Yeah. I believe that with my whole heart, because I know I would not be who I am today if it had not been for the bad. Yeah. Everything just can't be good.
Right. But I think what it is along those lines, like I was actually just telling somebody that earlier today. I was like, when you're born, we were talking about a quote, and she had mentioned an author and how they were saying, like, when you're born basically you're born on the wrong track, is what they were saying. And I was like, And I was like, I can see that, because when you're born with everything you need to do to be the person you're meant to be. The only thing you need is for that to be developed. Right. And so in order for it to be developed, you have to go through some things for it to grow and develop into, what it should be. And I think sometimes with us as women, and I was telling her this as well, we're always seem to be pitted against each other. Like we're told that it's a competition.
Yes.
We're told that, oh, that's your competition. And we're looking like, well, they got this better than me. And what ends up happening is because women have been torn down so much, right? Hurt people.
Yes.
And so they're not meaning to hurt you, but they cause you hurt because they haven't gotten to a place to be able to deal with their own hurt and to be healed from that. And it just becomes a continuous process. But what I'm looking to do, even in how we're doing it now, which is one of the reasons why I love you as a first lady, is because you definitely cultivate a place. Even though you've been hurt by other people, you try to come from a place of healing to bring a sisterhood, to bring women of all different backgrounds together to say, hey, let's love up on each other. And that's one of the things that I'm promoting is like, no, we don't have to fight each other. There is room for you at the table.
Yes.
What you have to do is learn who you are and get at the right table.
Yes.
Because once you get to that table, regardless of how many times or how many people are doing the same thing, guess what? Nobody has your unique voice.
Right.
It's not a competition. We all bring something to the table. It's a matter of us healing. And discovering who we are meant to be and what it is we're meant to bring forth. That's what's important.
I had a quote I wanted to just share. I don't know who she is, but I found it and I absolutely love it. And I thought it was really great for me when I was thinking about our topic tonight. And it says, don't spend all your time trying to find yourself. Spend your time creating yourself into a person that you'll be proud of.
Yeah.
And Sonia Parker, whoever she is, that's wonderful. Because I think that, like you said, some of us, for whatever reason, maybe no one's ever spoken like to us. Maybe no one's ever loved us.
Yeah.
It's vital that every day is a new day. And especially with the times that we're living in, with all that we're bombarded with, that we die daily, especially to ourselves.
Yep.
And that we attempt to create ourselves every day into a person that we will be proud of.
We will be proud of. Yes. So very true. It's a continuous work though. And what I want you ladies to know, for all of you that are listening, and I'm going to say it again. I said it at the beginning, but I'm going to say it one more time. Make sure that you share this broadcast with other people in your network. Share it to your timelines. Make sure you share it out. Somebody that you know needs this information. Me and First Lady don't know them, but you do. Make sure you share it out so that they can get this pertinent information, because there is healing that needs to be done. And we want to get to the root. You got to get to the root. And sometimes it's a continuous process. Even where we are right now, we're still learning. We're still growing. You know, we've been on our journey for a minute. We've learned some great things about ourselves, but life is ever evolving. And you don't get it all at once. It's a continuous process.
Yes.
Sometimes it's going to hurt. I'm going to be honest.
Most times.
Yes. More times it's going to hurt than it's going to feel good.
Oh, yes.
You got to think, if you broke your arm and you didn't get it properly tended to.
Yes.
When it heals incorrectly.
Oh, real. That's good.
And in order for it to get healed properly, 9 times out of 10, it's going to have to be rebroken.
Yes.
So that it can be put back together properly. Oh, come on here. Come on here now. That is what happens with us. We have been damaged. A lot of us have been damaged. And what ends up happening is we are unable to heal properly 9 times out of 10 because we don't know how to.
Yes.
And so when we come back to the healing process, it's going to be painful at first because you have to deal with the thing that broke you. You have to deal with being rebroken so that you can properly heal. But I promise you, there is so much freedom in getting the proper healing and really delving into your authentic self and who you are meant to be and what you are meant to do.
That's good.
I'm telling you.
And I think, Keita, one thing that I found is that we should all have some people that we esteem or look to for advice, mentors, our pastors, whoever those people are. But our journeys are so completely different. Sometimes we can get caught up into comparison. But we really have to seek God, his direction for us, because we're so unique. And I think that too often we forget the power in our uniqueness, that God, even though I have twin girls, they're completely different. And so God didn't create us to all be the same. And so we're looking at trying to become our authentic selves, resting in God and what he's created you to do, finding what it is he's called you to do, resting in that, and then you'll have true peace. It's so vital too to who you surround yourself with, because you can be on the right path with the wrong people.
Oh man, come on now.
And so often we keep the wrong people, more so for their benefit than ours. And we'll know that in an effort to be the good person, but it could hinder us.
Yep.
And it does hinder us. And so I think that that's something that, I'll be 50. Believe it or not, I will be 50 years old in a couple years. And as I think about my life in seasons and in decades, I can honestly say that my 40s have been the best years, because I think it wasn't until I turned 40 that I decided that I was going to love myself.
Yes.
More than I love people. And I'll tell you a simple example, and this may be too simple, but I decided I wanted to have a 40th birthday party. And part of me was like, you know what? I want to have a party, but I just want to have my closest people. I just want to have my peeps.
Right.
And the other part of me, you had two people talking, was like, well, girl, you got to invite everybody. Like
right.
Everybody.
Right, because somebody gonna get offended.
Somebody gonna be offended.
Somebody gonna be offended.
And it was then that I was like, okay. And I'll never forget, I ended up opening it up to everyone, which I'm glad I did. But there was kind of this, I was okay. Let me put it this way. I was okay with opening it up to everyone. And I think that that's important on our journey, is that sometimes we do things because other people want you to do it, or to save face, or because you're afraid of what people may say.
Right.
And so I think it was 40 when I kind of made up my mind, and it's been a journey. I'm still not completely there, that I needed to love myself.
Yeah.
I needed to be content with the fact that God knows who I am. And not be so concerned about what people think.
Yeah.
And I'll honestly be transparent, because I grew up Catholic, and, being in the style church that we founded is very closely knit. People are very, can be at times in the know. Yeah. They're not in the know. They call in to get in the know.
Yes.
I remember thinking, okay. And there were times when I would be reluctant to say certain things or do certain things, thinking, what will people think? And I think that all of us, to a certain degree, need that level of balance, all of us, because with social media, sometimes people, I don't even think before they post or before they say things. We do need that. But I think part of my journey with becoming my authentic self, and I'm probably rambling right now, but I'm trying to, that's what happens when you get close to 50. But part of my personal journey of becoming my authentic self was trusting myself, loving myself, and getting to the point where I was good with myself.
Yeah.
And I was good by myself.
Now that right there, that's a whole thing right there.
And so
yourself.
Yeah, because I think for many years, I have been taught as a woman, you don't want to be by yourself. We're your friends. You don't got no husband. You're taught that that's part of your womanhood.
Yep.
And so I think that 40s were freeing for me, and that I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Okay.
You know, and if I'm not good, I want to let you know I'm not good, because if I could really care about you and I really love you, I need to let you know.
Right.
Whereas up to 40, I wouldn't let you know.
You just tuck it and roll. Right. You just tuck it.
So look, pray for me for 50s.
I think every decade of age, you get something new.
Wisdom.
Yeah. You get another set of wisdom that is just like, wow. I wish I had come to this conclusion before, because oh my goodness.
Yes.
But some of that comes with the process and the journey, actually.
Yes.
Some of that wisdom comes with the journey.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. In my 40s, I did realize that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to be by yourself. Like I'm a biologically only child.
Yeah.
And I had to learn to love my company. You know what I mean? You have to learn to love your own company. And that's how I am now. So it was like when COVID came, I'm an introvert with extrovert tendencies. God called me to a field where I had to be an extrovert, but I really am an introvert. I like my time from time to time, to be honest. But in doing that, when COVID hit and everybody was like, I'm tired of being at home, I was like, I'm actually grateful to be at home. I get a chance to recoup, because for introverts, you need that time to recoup, to restore. And that's where you get it in your quiet time. I think everybody needs a little bit of time to themselves to be able to do that, just that, to recoup.
Yes.
But when you learn the pleasure of your own company, baby.
Oh yeah.
It becomes a pleasure to know yourself. That's
and how can you really be your authentic self unless you're good with yourself?
Hello.
Because truly, in order to be authentic, you have to be good with you being by yourself.
Yep.
Silent in the presence of the Lord.
Yep.
Where God's got this, where he can speak. Because honestly, when God has spoken to me the most is when there's been little distraction.
Yep.
You know, there can't be a lot of talking. There can't be a lot of folly. There can't be a lot of, you know, oh, I'm going to hang out with my sisters. Or it's when I've been in my darkest hour by myself that God has spoken the loudest. Yeah. And shine forth his glory, grace, love, healing to me the greatest.
Yes.
It wasn't when things were good. It was when things were bad.
Exactly.
Talk about COVID. I'm almost sure I had it. And I share that. I you know, it's not anything to joke about, but I'll share this really quickly. We were in Dubai when all this hit, the early part of March, and didn't realize how bad it was until we got home. And they were literally taking people throughout the customs line as we're trying to get back into the country. They are taking people out of the line to God knows where. And 3 days after we got back into the US, I had COVID symptoms. And I'll tell you that every symptom that they say you have, other than losing my taste, I had. And there was one particular night that I just felt this overwhelming dark presence, as if the enemy was like, I'm going to take your life. My husband ended up taking me to the emergency room because of shortness of breath. They would not give me a COVID test because back then they would not test you.
Right. They weren't testing everybody.
Yeah. But I share that just because of what we're going through with this pandemic. There are times in our lives where if you haven't been there yet, I've had several that no one can help.
Right.
And you feel, you know, like, oh my God, what am I to do? And I feel like those episodes, those times in my life where I could do nothing, and no one could do anything for me, that I had to look to God.
Right.
I had to look to God for my healing.
Mm-hmm.
There was no prescription. There was no medicine. The ER turned me away, told me to go home and quarantine. We were alerted that someone in our travel group had COVID. And so I was almost positive that that's what it was. The inability to breathe and you feeling like, oh my God, you know, because I have a history of asthma. Like, Lord, any minute now, this is going to be my last breath.
Right.
So I share that because it's in those times where, you know, life flashes before you and you really begin to think about what is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, if you're smart, begin to think about what should I be doing differently.
Those moments.
Yes. And so, you know, I don't know, Keita, if we aren't in a season right now, all of us, believers, non-believers, where we feel like there has to be something else, I don't know what it will take for people to get that epiphany or that light bulb, because I feel like this is truly the season where people have to know God.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like for those who don't know him. Can't even imagine, because it's difficult enough for those of us who say we know him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole nother process in itself. A whole nother process. But you're right. Like, if this is what it feels like on this side,
yes,
of being a believer, what does it feel like to go through and not feel like you have a source higher than yourself?
Right. To have no hope.
to help you through the process.
Yes.
I don't want to imagine that.
I can't imagine that. I truly can't.
I always say, I know the old saying says, if God never do nothing else for me, he's already done enough. I'm like, I'm not going to say that, because I need him every day.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to be somewhere sick, crying, laid out on the floor like, no, don't leave. I mean, the ugly cry.
Right.
I need him every day of my life. I move and live and have my being in him. It's no way that I can process life without him. So no, I don't want him to never, ever do anything else for me for the rest of my life. I can't imagine living life without him.
Right.
That's where
I'm at. Amen. I'm with you.
I'm
with you.
But this has been such a fantastic chat. Oh my goodness. I enjoy talking to you. I mean,
our sipping chat.
Listen, I'm telling you, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you came in the middle, go back and watch it again. It will be available shortly. But make sure, again, share. Come on now. Y'all know what to do. Share. Make sure you share it out. Somebody needs this encouragement tonight. Somebody needs it. And you know them. We don't, but you do. And the only way they're going to get it is if you share it, right? It's all about making our ripple effect. What I want to ask, I posted your information before and we'll put it up again. Make sure that you follow First Lady Darice Carlton. She has a magnificent group for First Ladies. Those of you who are watching who are First Ladies and you need some encouragement, baby, hook up with your sisters, okay?
First Ladies Rock.
Yes, hook up with your sisters at First Ladies Rock. That is a Facebook group that you can watch. You can also reach out, and if she has room in her friend list, because you know everybody know her, you can go. And
always got room for friends.
Yes, you can always go to her page, Darice Carlton. Check her out there. And I'm so grateful for you. I just want to say before we go, because we've given so many nuggets of encouragement, but what is one thing on your heart that you want to make sure we say tonight before we go?
I would just speak, I guess, probably to women. Let's do better. Let's be better. Yeah. When they go low, let's go high.
Yeah.
And just encourage everyone right now to really find themselves in a posture of servitude. It's the season. It's the season where even if people have a lot tangibly, they still need encouraging. They still need a friendly face. And under those masks, I be smiling. And then I realize, oh, they can't see the smile. So I need to get one of those masks that has the smile on it. But I think we discount the power in the human touch. And that's the one thing that I really miss with us being out of church, is that there's so much power in encouragement and in human touch, and with the hugs, just the feeling like you've had a refilling and a refueling. I miss that from my sisters. And so just want to encourage you all out there to just be about God's business now more than ever. And if you don't know what God's business is, I can walk you to what you can do. You know, some of us say we don't know what God has called us to do. Well, God has called us to serve. He's called all of us to serve. And so our life's purpose is to serve, and to be evangelists, and to point somebody to the cross, no matter the cross that we're bearing, but to be able to do that in such a way that we would be an encouragement to those who are walking in darkness, because so many are. So yeah, that would be my message tonight, is let's be sure to think of others more highly than ourselves, and do whatever we can to stay connected, to get behind a cause, whatever you enjoy doing, whatever you feel like you are purposed to do it. If you don't know what your purpose is, just try something. Go feed some hungry people or make some sandwiches. Just try something. And through your trial and error, you'll find your purpose. But I'm almost certain that it will be in the area of servitude. So don't be afraid to serve.
And I'm going to tag on to what she just said, because there was a phenomenal prayer that she said. And I had been asking around about, but I went back and asked that same one. If you don't know nothing else to do, then just pray and say, God, show me what I should be doing.
Yes.
Show me what you want.
And he'll show you.
Yep. Show me what you want me to do. God, show me what you want me to do. If you can't get anything else out, and you really like, I don't know what I should be doing, I don't know who I am, you can ask two things. God, show me what I should be doing. And then God, show me who I am through your eyes. Those are two great prayers that will get you through and help you on your journey, your spiritual journey to learning and discovering your authentic self. Ladies, remember, there's always room at the table for you. You just got to get to the right table. And how do you do that? By recognizing the real you. That's how you get to the right table. There's room for you there, for you and your unique voice. Thank you so much, Lady Darice, for joining me tonight. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. I love you so much.
Thank you. I love you. I miss you so much.
Yes. Look, hugs, virtual hugs. Yes. You guys remember to share. Somebody needs this word. It's not a competition, ladies. It's not a competition. If we help each other, we can get way more done if we just learn to love, embrace, and help one another. I promise you, it's not a competition. Your sisters are not here to tear you down. We're here to help build you up. We have to help each other do that. Love you guys. Remember, today is a great day to make a difference in the lives of those around you. I'm Lynn Tate, and this has been Recognizing the Real Me's Sip and Chat with Lynn. You guys have a phenomenal night, and I'll see you next week.